How's it going, everybody? GN here for Media Lodge, Get Zone, and Funker Tactical, continuing on with our industry influencer interview series. And today I'm here with Ben Mookie Thomas. How's it going, brother?
Hey man, good to see you again.
Good to see you too. So for those of us who don't know, who are you?
Well, I'm just Ben. My friends call me Mookie. I was in the Navy when I was young. I was also a security contractor, spent about 10 years over in the war, got out, couldn't find anything to do. I was passionless, and this gun company approached me, Spikes Tactical, and they said, "We like your personality, we like your experience, take our guns and go do something with them." And in the end, I'm now the marketing director, and I've been doing that for a few years. And
You didn't go to school for marketing, did you?
I didn't go to school, Frank. I can't do math.
So what was it about Spikes and what was it about you that really makes this work? It's been a very successful journey. I've kept a pulse on what you've been doing, man.
I ain't gonna lie. We killed the secret, and I spent a long time figuring this out. Authenticity allows you to be liked, appreciated, and embraced by people. They already know that everyone has flaws. Every company doesn't have the perfect this or that. But when you don't lie about it, or about yourself or whatever, it allows people to connect with you in a way that's important for human relationships. We're in an era of populism. It's how Trump got elected. Da, 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 da. I focus all of our marketing efforts. I don't even like to call it that. I don't even like to call it. I go, what do the people like us, who are our customers, care about today? And we focus on that, all of our efforts.
It seems very simple. Why aren't more people doing this? What's the fear?
No, it's because they go to college. I had a guy come in, a marketing dude, he's got all these degrees. He said, oh no, you're doing it wrong, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And I realized that they like numbers, and they put it in front of their boss, and it looks like a form of work, but it's not real. Marketing is truly about connecting with a human and compelling them to embrace and love your product. And it has nothing to do with pie graphs. They go to school so they can learn that, so they can produce something for their bosses.
Right.
Some of it works, some of it doesn't.
I see you as somebody who's fearlessly authentic, and in the social space, that could be a liability.
It can be a liability unless you embrace the fact. Some people aren't gonna like you. Some people aren't gonna like your company's product because they're tied to you. But we're not going after everybody. You can't. It's like love. You really don't want to date everybody. You find the people who you connect with, who you believe in, who are like-minded, and you just be honest with them.
The Mookie Militia. What is this?
Mookie Militia. Okay, so my nickname's Mookie, and I had no job, and I just had no money. My best friend started a business for me. He says, we're gonna sell patches. And I go, who buys patches? He goes, trust me, it's a thing. So we made this logo. The logo's based on my unit crest in Afghanistan, blah, blah, blah. Pissed a lot of people off. Turns out the Nazis use it, I don't care. And it started making a little bit of money. People were buying the patches or whatever. And then I got this job. So now we just do charity. So I sell patches and hats. We do this thing, my cousins are teachers in Ohio in low-income areas, and every Christmas we have them find the students in the most need, and we blow their Christmas tree up. We give them the full-on American experience. I don't know, it just makes me feel good.
Is it a group? Is it a community? What if you were to put
a tribe?
It's a tribe. If this tribe had a mission statement, what might that sound like?
Focus on the influence your actions have on the people around you. Focus on what your actions have upon other people. Meaning, I don't care, you got a degree, you were in first year, that's cool. What did you do to help anyone today? What did you sacrifice? What did you contribute to your neighbor? A tribe is about taking ownership of the welfare of other people, not yourself. See what I'm saying? Like, for a tribe to survive, I have to value your life above mine, and vice versa. Even if we don't like each other.
Right.
That's what a
tribe... Well, that's strange, really.
Oh, yes, that's what a real tribe is. So, Sebastian Younger wrote a book called Tribe, and he was moved after a year in Afghanistan, compelled to find out why these soldiers, some of them hated each other, their personalities were different or whatever, would literally die for each other. One of them ran into machine gun fire to protect them because they were a tribal community, and the only way this survives is if you and I know that the man to the left or woman to the right will put my welfare above their own, and that becomes an irresistible, undefeatable force in every aspect of life.
So are you the leader of this tribe?
I pick the right people to join it, and I learned this when I was in the service. When you pick the right people, you don't have to manage them, you just let them do their thing. Now, I will occasionally veto something or you know, lead it in a certain direction, but these are not my fanboys. It's not a fanboy club. It's a group of like-minded, like-valued individuals.
I go through some of those conversations, and sometimes you'd post something like, hey, I'm here, can anybody help me out? I need this, this, and that. And the response is overwhelming. What is it about you that people gravitate to, that want to be a part of, and would kind of drop everything to be able to support you?
Well,
what is it about you?
To give, you will receive. I have treated every friend I have as if they are my blood or more, and that attracts people. And then it's no longer about me. Everyone in that group can make that post, I need help, I'm here, and it's done like that. There are people hungering for a human connection. Technology has destroyed us. It has made us insincere, phony, like I feel better, so-and-so like me, it's all about false everything. And what we really want as human beings, we want to have someone we can count on, and our friends to feel like they can count on us. And you have to demonstrate that. You have to invest in each other's love banks. When you see people doing that, you go, I don't know you, but I'm with you. And that's how it's built.
You've demonstrated this. I think that's the difference. I think a lot of people know these concepts to be true.
Well, you have to demonstrate it to be a part of it.
Right.
To get Mookie Militia, you have to be selfless. I will be watching something go down in our little groups or whatever, and I'll see a consistent pattern. A guy named Flores. Watched him for like 2 years. It's a consistent pattern of always looking out for people around him. And I just called him one day, hey man, you don't know me, I don't know you, but you'd be an asset to this thing, and I know you don't care what it is now, but when you get there, you'll understand.
This must extend, because this doesn't sound like a surface level thing, so these philosophies must extend to how you deal with customer service.
Everything.
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 So how do you deal with somebody who is just belligerent, complaining without base? Because those things happen, right? At the end of the day, Spikes is a company that has to deal with the public, and not everybody is part of the tribe. So how do you deal with outside tribe who happens to have a business transaction with the company you represent? Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. The classical training is the customer's always right, and we do that to a point. But there's a point at which the corporate, as long as you've done everything and above that you are ethically required to service the customer. Some of them are just belligerent. Then we give them a chance to find out what the real anger is. I'll call him. I'll drive to his house.
Really?
Man, are you drunk? You have alcohol problem? What do you got? And some people just want to hurt you. We had someone who made some nasty personal attacks on our employees.
Okay.
Said horrible things. And this employee happened to die in a motorcycle accident. It's a young kid, mean a lot to me. I just ran into him downstairs. I went and I didn't slap him. I put my hands on him and I said, I told you when I saw you, I'd hold you accountable. And he apologized. I said, a man doesn't say things on the internet he wouldn't say to someone's face. And I shook his hand and it was a sincere apology. So sometimes you gotta do that. sometimes you got to hold people accountable. Remind them that this is a real world and that we're real men.
Yeah. There's a lot of things wrong with the social landscape and this sense of invincibility behind the screen, you know. And I like that you kind of did that, man. That's you know, without being threatening or anything like that.
I threatened him. It happened 2 years ago. I told him, I said, look, man, when I see you, I'm gonna whip your ass.
Okay, so
it's not a threat. I meant it.
Yeah,
threat is talking, but
right.
I'm sure it was a crime. But when I physically confronted him and I let him know that it was real, it's an opportunity. I always give somebody an out, and he got that all of a sudden I was sincere, and he apologized, and we made peace.
Tell me about Ben as a family man. What
Flawed?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Of course. How do you, in your accepting of your flaws, how do you deal day to day? How do you see your role as a father, as a husband? Looking for advice.
Man, so am I. I thought I was a good husband, a good father, doing the best I could. I poured myself into my work. First year, they doubled my salary, bought me a race. All the material benefits that do make your family happy and secure. But I was gone, always. Phone rang, somebody had a problem, I got in the car and I go. I didn't know this at the time. In my head, I'm servicing my family. I'm a hunter, I'm going out and I'm killing things for us to eat. It's my job. But my wife was emotionally abandoned, alone. She was a single mother. And I'm not saying that my marriage went off the tracks, but we got to a point where we were both very dissatisfied. We needed more from each other. So I called my boss. I said, look, I need to cut my hours by 75%. I'm sorry. Because if the marriage thing doesn't work, we don't need the money anyway. My boss, you know what he said? Spike's tactic. Keep the money, take the time off, have a vacation.
Who is this guy? What's his name? I don't think I've ever met him.
He doesn't want that. He really doesn't want that. He's a very, very nice man, very smart. He's one of the best friends actually I've ever had in my life. Yeah, that's actually accurate.
Okay.
He just doesn't want to be identified. He's very modest. When we're here, he walks in a group with us and just gets introduced by a different name, and no one knows they're talking to Spike.
That's kind of cool.
He's very cool, man.
I kind of like that
vibe,
cool, man. Yeah.
He has the humility that I wish I had.
That's good. I think in friendships, there's got to be something that person has that you kind of wish you had more of. You know, something to aspire to be. Yeah. A constant source of inspiration or a reminder to be more this way or that way. So that's really cool. And I'm not going to push. I would like to meet this guy one day, shake his hand. But again, switching gears. Do you spend a lot of time watching YouTube?
None. I don't read gun magazines. I don't like guns. Like, let me rephrase that. They didn't hire me because I knew how many turns and twists. They hired me because when I speak about a gun doing this or that, it's because I've used it at war against the enemy, and that is their form of confidence. So, over the past couple of years, I've learned a lot more. But I try to keep my focus on samurai, not swordsmanship, which is the, you know, ting, ting, ting. Those guys are experts. It's a discipline. I ain't worried about it.
You're worried about
mastering the weapon.
When we first started this interview and you were like, you got to prepare, I feel like some of the things you say, I need to reflect upon. And it needs to happen kind of outside the interview platform. So I kind of like that. You're being interviewed here because you're an industry influencer.
Oh, that's nice.
What do you think that means?
You ran out of B-roll? more than anything that you and I are friends and we enjoy talking. Being candid.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I think it's a little bit more than that, because what I see, because when you first started this whole thing, I think I was one of the guys who came up and said, hey, you might want to consider not saying this and not saying that, and I was wrong, and I want to put that on the record. I was wrong, man.
Can I tell you something funny?
Yes.
All right, so listen to this. Do you mind if I break the third wall? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so I get in trouble in my life, personal, professional, when I'm not myself. When I'm bipolar, I have PTSD, all kinds of shit. It has good, it has bad, it affects people, blah, blah, blah. And at times I've tried to be even keel, and that's when I'm not creative, that's when I'm not passionate, that's when I'm not reliable. It ruins everything. So, Eddie Murphy was doing stand-up when he was young. Famous comedian. It's
Clay something.
Yeah. So, no, it's Red Fox.
Red Fox.
Red Fox.
Okay.
And Red Fox, Eddie comes down, he goes, hey man, let me tell you something. All that cussing, ain't nobody want to hear that. Flash forward a few years later, he's in the bathroom, Eddie Murphy is, and the dude walks in, stands up next to him. Now he's done bad and all Beverly Hills Cop, and he goes, I guess what was wrong, and then walked out. Sorry, it's actually a good story when they tell it, not me.
All right, guys, so I've been talking with Ben Mookie Thomas here. I'm going to ask him one more question, and then I'm going to take a sip of that. Ben, we are here for a limited time. How do you want to be remembered?
A little bit here and there. Take care. Shush. My favorite word in the world is aspire. You can't be perfect at anything, and you fail all the time, but aspire means to constantly try to improve. And I think my best quote ever, I used to live in Hollywood. I used to go to cemeteries, and I walk over and it's Jack Lemmon's grave. Jack Lemmon says, that's all, folks. I don't know. Sorry, terrible answer.
Ben Mookie Thomas, a man who continues to aspire, and that's how he wants to be remembered. I think that's how he will be remembered. The guy who never gave up and continues to aspire. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I just ruined your exit.
No, it's all good.
Yeah,
It's all.
the guy standing over there stole all everybody can reason that piece of shit. Sorry.
We'll see you next time.
I was talking through the whole thing.